It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Welcome to this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. I am Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
And this week, if I look a little giddy like a little schoolgirl on Christmas
You
morning,
always look like a little schoolgirl.
well, I appreciate that. But the reason I'm so excited is boating season officially here. Not only Shootout Offshore coming like a freight train, but lots of boating events around the lake and speed offshore events around the country. We'll talk about some of those, plus great local headlines. A boat caught fire over the weekend.
Yeah, a boat caught fire, and then another boat got taken off the shore, off the rocks. We'll tell you about that.
Yeah, the one we've been following, waiting almost a year since that boat that hit the bluff sitting there. Plus, Bagnell Dam's floodgates, they're closed. We'll touch base on the repavement progress on the historic Bagnell Dam Strip. Plus, the big giants are back, right? The big giants. Chief Bagnell and the hillbilly, I think they call him something wild. We'll get into it. The hillbilly halfwit is his name. He got damaged. We'll tell you about that. Plus, we celebrate Lake Days, ribbon cutting at their brand new vacation center, and Lori, that and a whole lot more after this message from our friends at Slumberland at the Lake.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. What time of year is it? Well, Memorial Weekend's just right around the corner, and you probably have a big group coming to the lake. What do you need? Probably a sectional, and boy do we have sectionals. With the Memorial Sale, they're up to 60% off. We have 0% interest financing for up to 36 months, on top of the already great discounted prices. And don't forget, we deliver the entire lake area. So come check us out, Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
So hard to believe that it's Memorial Day weekend is officially here with Memorial Day on Monday. And so as Daryl said, the Memorial Day sales event right here at Slumberland, all kinds of great deals, up to 60% off. And what I noticed was they had some killer deals on sectionals. That's a big purchase, right, for a family. And they got some crazy deals, big savings. Now's the time to buy your new sectional, your living room furniture. I know it's summer. They also got their Adirondack chairs and outdoor patio furniture and all that great stuff. So stop by Slumberland at the Lake. And when you do, tell them that Wild Will and Uncle Chris sent you.
Adirondack.
Adirondack. What did I say?
I don't know.
That's great. There's no telling, because over the years on Cup of Coffee, a lot of times you just let it go and tell me afterwards. So, well, you know what I meant.
We had fun with the Aurora Borealis last week,
Yes, we
right?
sure did. That could be its own segment. It's Will trying to pronounce words with more than 3 syllables correctly. All right, so it's boating season. Listen, it's Shootout Offshore season, right? This is big. It's the P1 Championship Series, the UIM Class 1. This year, it's the first time it's been at 5 sites. They have their first event this last weekend in Cocoa Beach, Florida, for Thunder on Cocoa Beach. Check out my Facebook page, William Holtz Lake TV. In collaboration with Speedboat Magazine, we do a great recap of the entire weekend, from your Class 1 winners to your skater. Man, I'm telling you what, it was a Super Cat weekend. You had 7 Super Cats compete in that event, and pretty cool. We'll tell you about that in that recap. But with Shootout Offshore, it's important that it has the Shootout name, but it's not one boat at a time. These are sanctioned offshore races with different classes, and so you will see anywhere from 4 to 12 of the exact same type of boats in the water racing side by side on waters of Lake of the Ozarks, and you can catch that entire thing live Friday and Saturday. That's going to be May 31st and June 1st on Lake TV, and both days. Just found out from Leah Martin with Lake of the Ozarks, Shootout Executive Director for Shootout Offshore as well, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday, meaning you'll get to watch the testing and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff taking place Friday, starting at 9 right here on Lake TV. And leading into that, don't miss Wednesday, first ever boat parade and street party at 5 o'clock. I believe they're going to close the Bagnell Dam. You have some information on that?
Yeah, Bagnell Dam Boulevard will be closed from School Road to Valley Road from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. And this is on that Wednesday, May 29th, as they do the boat parade and everything like that. So
next Wednesday.
That's right. Not this last Wednesday, but next Wednesday, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend. Bagnell Dam Boulevard will be closed 5 p.m. to Horseshoe Bend Parkway, to School Road as the race boats parade down the strip. So that's going to be really cool. But in order to do that, they have to close down some of those roads. So just prepare for that and kind of plan for that if you need to be around there. The parade will start around 5 o'clock. Boats will parade down Bagnell Dam Boulevard from Horseshoe Bend Parkway to the Strip area. Wow. So that's the direction they're going. And again, that's the Wednesday, May 29th. That kind of kicks off the whole week of racing events and everything for the first big race of the year.
Yeah, and this is going to be killer because the street party that always happens at the shootout, it's always incredible, always one of the biggest sights of the year. But some of Lake TV's most viral content comes from them lining up before they come down to the strip. Our drone pilot, Daniel Carnahan, Skyview Photography, has gotten videos of those lined up. It is a sight to see them rigged up on these trailers and these trucks and them come in. They got sound systems and golf carts and swag and all of it. I mean, it is going to be an epic night. And if you don't already, I'm telling you now, I've absolutely fallen in love with the whole boating industry, these races, these vintage boats. And so you want to go plug into our other platforms because with Shootout Offshore, we're going to have all kinds of behind the scenes stuff. Andrew and I are going to be down in the pits at times talking with the drivers. We're going to have different recaps from the events. And so all of that extra content you can find on other Lake TV platforms from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then of course, check out my William Holtz Lake TV Facebook page, Instagram at LOZ Will, and of course on TikTok because our vintage boat show from this last weekend.
Yeah, you were down there, right?
Oh my goodness, it was
the cave, I think.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was at the cave. What a sight. I had not actually been there by land. I'd only been there once by boat to shoot an event last year.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, what a cool place for families. I did not realize that a separate kids pool and inside the cave where the pool is at, they also have this massive sand beach area for kids to play on. So I was immediately fired up to go tell Unique when I got back. But while I was there for the Heartland Classic boat event, this was a vintage boat show. And so there were 18 different classic boats. There were Century Coronados, just like the one we featured with Doc Jansen on our LOZ featured doc series. There were Chris Crafts, there were Lymans. I mean, there was everything. And one boat in particular was a 1966 Glasstron.
Wow.
S6, I believe, or it was a 165 horsepower. And this thing was rigged up, as you can see right here. But the exhaust pipes, because the boat is so small, they come underneath the engine and all 6 pipes go up so you don't melt the fiberglass or the flooring. It was
cool is
really
that?
Cool, and it sounds like a high-performance race car,
wow.
This engine, when he fired it up. And that video between TikTok and Instagram has over 250,000 views since Saturday. So people absolutely love those vintage boats. And we've agreed with that organization on our brand new LOZ boat series that we're going to do 2 days of shooting with them this fall and feature all of those vintage boats with their owner, tell their story, their history.
How cool is that?
And so you can look forward to that. And speaking of the LOZ, our Lake of the Ozarks boats, the pilot episode now debuting, now airing on Lake TV. It's with the Axopar 37 cross cabin with Surdike Yamaha, just a beautiful boat.
Love that. It's just so, I mean, that's just, you got to see that. It's so great.
A boat like you've never seen before. It's kind of a cross between a fishing boat, a center console, a highway patrol boat, and a bat boat, if you would. Like if Batman had a boat that he fished in, he was the highway patrolman in, and it was a center console. That's exactly how I would describe this boat. So you could check that out on the Lake of the Ozarks boat series. Mason Bennett did a great job. You want to go see him because they already sold one of the two. They had the Suntop and the Cross Cabin, and they already sold one of the two, waiting on the replacement to come in. So I wouldn't wait. If you want to get that boat, there won't be many opportunities this summer. You're going to want to check that out. And then, of course, we're pretty excited because the LOZ featured doc series getting closer.
Yeah. I mean, and you've got the docs lined up. Some of the most expensive, the biggest, the baddest, the best docs at the Lake of the Ozarks. This will be season number 3. The first 2 seasons have been incredible. I mean, that first season was fun and great. Last year was even more amazing. The docs got even cooler, and I can't wait to see what you've got lined up this year. It's going to be, and you got some big names involved too for some of these, so I'm pretty excited to see some of that.
Yeah, I can just go ahead and tell you and tease it. So Augie Bush sold his estate, and the team, the group, the individual that bought his estate, has agreed to let us feature the dock and some other potential things on that property as part of this year's LOZ featured dock series presented by Jonathan Hartenstein, broker associate with Lake Ozark Real Estate. We kicked that off Friday, June 14th at 9:17 p.m.
That's coming up fast.
That's a Friday. You're not going to want to miss that. And of course, the doc series shorts that we've been running, recapping season number 2, have really been getting people excited. Anywhere I go, people say, hey, you guys doing your doc series? Are you doing your doc series? And yes, we are doing season 3 of the LOZ featured doc series. And we actually, by the time you see this, we will be already shooting season number 1 with some episodes. So we're pretty fired up about that. And stay tuned to Lake TV. Now,
and I want to say, while we're talking about boats coming up, not this week, but next week on the Community Spotlight Show, we've got Hall of Famer Myrick Coyle, who's going to be talking about some of his great boating stories and world championships and all of that as we kind of celebrate Shootout Offshore Week. That'll be fun.
Myrick Coyle, also known as the GOAT in the history of powerboat offshore racing of all time, local right here, Myrick Coyle. And if you watch our Cocoa Beach recap, you'll see he did some pretty special things down there, including being reacquainted with Johnny Tomlinson under the hatch. So we'll tell you about that. Now, we want to talk about some local headlines. We're going to run through these really quick, but our first one we saw in Lake Expo, but it happens a couple times a year, and it looks like a boat actually caught fire over the weekend.
Yeah, boat was destroyed by fire Saturday, May 18th. This was around the 1 mile marker, so pretty close to the dam. Lake Ozark Fire Protection District on the scene with a fireboat. Happened late Saturday evening. There's a video on Facebook that showed the boat just engulfed in flames. Eyewitness told Lake Expo, our friends over there, the occupants of the boat were picked up by a fishing boat, so they jumped. They were off the burning boat, right, which is a good idea. A fishing boat comes by, picks them up, and a note of warning and learning for all of us boat owners. So boat fires occur nearly every year on the Lake of the Ozarks. We do a story, at least one story like this every year. And one of the most common causes is overheating, right? Your boat engine overheating. And one of the most common reasons for that is a failed impeller, right? Which is a part of the motor that, drives the boat, which, and I've had boats for many years now. And I was just talking to a guy yesterday because I have to take one of my boats in to have an oil change. He says, well, you want me to put a new impeller in there? And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And he says, how long's it been? And I told him, and he said, you want to change that impeller because it'll cause a boat fire if it's not working right. So
it's recommended to change that every 2 years. And another Facebook user commented on there to remember for inboards to make sure you turn your blower on for a minimum of 2 minutes before firing up the boat. That way you
get the fumes out of there.
And things that build up, because that's also, outside of a failed impeller, that's also a lot of times what causes a boat fire and explosion. And so recommended, turn that blower on for a minimum of 2 minutes before you start the boat up after fueling up.
Because the big explosion, I think it was last year in Gravois Mills, they just gassed up, but they didn't blow out the fumes, and that's what exploded. And there were like 17 people on that boat, I think.
And with this story, I think it's worth reminding everybody that Lake TV a couple of years ago partnered with Performance Boat Center and Ameren, Missouri, along with the Missouri Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division for a boating safety tip series. Now, although it was a couple of years ago, those tips still very relevant and will help you today. There's 6 different series, and one of those was safely fueling your boat. There's things like towables, maneuvering wakes on the lake, and also passer of way, or all of those things, as far as it's new for people coming to Lake of the Ozarks. And so kind of reminds me, when I saw this story, we need to reinvent and redo our boating safety tips with Ameren and the Missouri Water Patrol.
Those are so great and so needed. I mean, because there's people like me, we live here, we live on the water, we still need to be reminded of that stuff. But all the new people coming in, they don't know any of that stuff. So that's a really good idea.
So coming soon, Wild Will and Uncle Chris's reinvented boating safety tip series right here at Lake of the Ozarks. So boat catches on fire, the first one. I also saw that Bagnell Dam floodgates? Yeah, the Bagnell Dam floodgates have been closed with all the rainfall and things going on. Truman had been opened, and it looked like it had risen drastically. Now it's still under full pool, but it's nearing that towards Memorial Day weekend. Ameren says they anticipate it'll hit anywhere between 659 and 660, which apparently that is full pool for the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
And they said they attributed that to the constant rainfall over the last couple of weeks that allowed that lake level to rise so quick, because just in the last, it looks like 2 weeks, that was a drastic increase.
Yeah, and every winter, they bring the lake levels down about 6 feet so that they can do some work on the dam, and so that people who live on the water can do work on their seawalls and stuff like that. And then they gradually bring it up so that it's pretty close to full pool on Memorial Day weekend. And they're doing that this year. Full pool is 660 feet above sea level is how they gauge that. And so Ameren likes to keep it at full pool between 659 and 660, and it's pretty much there right now. But that's why we've seen the water levels coming up. Happens every year, and every winter it'll go back down about 6 feet so that they can do that work. But it's back up, and all this rain that we've had the last few weeks made that pretty easy. And I haven't been up to Truman to see that, but I hear that's been over full as well. So
you've been up there though, right?
Oh,
you've been up to
there.
Warsaw,
Yeah.
and you've been up to the
I just
bridge.
haven't been up there in the last few weeks.
Okay, very good. All right, so in other local news, pretty exciting stuff. Listen, you talk about the city of Lake Ozark. What does everybody want to talk about? There's typically two topics: the roads, casinos. Well, listen, the repavement project for the Bagnell Dam Strip in 2 phases underway the last week and a half, and they are moving right along. You've probably noticed.
I think they're doing a great job.
They're moving quickly. You've noticed the incredible work that's already been done. I spoke with City of Lake Ozark City Administrator Harrison Fry, and he said now they did have a little delay with all the rainfall. You know, when you're laying asphalt and painting and stuff, there are going to be delays, but they're still on pace to be completed maybe by the time you watch this going into Memorial Day weekend, which is great. They do have some painting and traffic monitor laps to still install, and you might be wondering what's a traffic monitor lap, as I was. It's a magnetic monitor loop that goes on the pavement and recognizes that a car is over it, that communicates somehow with the traffic light. And he said they're incredibly helpful, but they're getting those finalized and some last paint laid. So that's really good news, and they're currently taking bids for phase 2. That phase 1 was right there at the bridge in front of JB Hooks, all the way down to School Road at the top of the Bagnell Dam Strip, and it is looking great.
Looking really good. And you can tell, I mean, when you take the older sections of road that haven't been worked on yet, and you're going over the potholes and everything, and then you hit the nice new stuff, it's like, wow, this is great.
Notice I'm not wearing a neck brace this week? And I even got here
there you
via
go.
Bagnell Dam Strip. Thank you, guys. So the phase 1 was JB Hooks right there at that bridge all the way down to School Road, and they're taking bids right now for phase 2, which they're on pace to have done this fall, and that'll be from School Road all the way across the strip down there to where the actual Bagnell Dam sits, right there at that Ameren sign. And so from there all the way up to JB Hooks is going to be that brand new
That'll be nice.
Black pavement, going to be pretty awesome. But the one concern, and Andrew, our DOP, mentioned this. He goes, the one thing you're going to see is because with all of the potholes and all of the repairs, it causes you to drive slower. You still have a tendency to go over that 25 on the strip. It happens regularly. You got walkways and pedestrians and events going on. But now with that blacktop, you don't realize it, man. You just get going and you're like, oh, Lake Ozarks pulled me over again. Uh-oh. So slow down as you enjoy the newly paved roads in the city of Lake Ozark, but great work there. And along the same lines, while down there looking at the repavement progress down there, I noticed the two giants, of course, Chief Bagnell, that's now owned by Reese Development, sitting right in front of 2-Bit Town. You've probably seen Facebook posts. It's been fairly popular since being put back. But also, you've got the other one over there, and that's the Ozark Hillbilly Halfwit.
Okay.
Right? It kind of looks like the Mad TV character.
Yeah.
And so that was just put back, and it was paid for by Joe Page and his family. Not only did they find and execute the restoration process and get that done, they paid for that out of pocket because they understand the nostalgic importance of that down here at the lake and having those both. And so not even 2 weeks after that got put back, speaking of a hillbilly halfwit, a true hillbilly halfwit Neanderthal comes down there and vandalizes the shoe of this statue, and the problem is it's not going to be an easy repair because it's fiberglass. So you can't just put like a steel panel or a covering. It's going to be a very lengthy and expensive process, and Harrison Fry did tell me that the Pages were just so bothered by this. Of course, it's a great effort they made and a gesture they did for the city of Lake Ozark, as they continue to do. And so they are looking at options and at cost. But again, because it's fiberglass, that's no easy progress or project. And it's not like everyone out there just works on those big statues and can do that type of thing.
Pretty rare. I'm wondering, maybe with all the fiberglass boats around here, maybe there's a fiberglass expert that can help out and stuff. But that makes me so mad that people, good people of the community pay their own money to restore that, put it up for the good of the community, and then some jerks go down there and destroy it within 2 weeks. Oh man, that
frustrating.
Makes me so mad. Yeah.
It's one of the most senseless things you can do, is destroy somebody else's property with just reckless abandonment for anybody else and what they have going on.
What's the entitlement that makes you think that's okay?
The kind of person that does that also litters. I mean, littering's another one. It's like, where have you ever gone where there's not a trash can when you get there? What's the point in littering? I think it's a character issue, and so it's unfortunate to see someone damage the giant, but it's still there, still looks great. If you don't get really close, you wouldn't see the shoe or the foot, and if we do get any kind of progress, or if they do try to fix that up, we'll certainly keep you guys posted. And also with the city of Lake Ozark, we haven't heard from the casino group, the Osage Nation, for a while, but listen, if there's any questions on if they're planning on moving forward, I think those questions are answered, because they just went through with their 5th round of donations to local charities.
So they announced another round of donations to Lake of the Ozark organizations. Monday, May 20th, the nation said it would be donated $55,000 to 8 lake area community groups. That brings their total over the last several years up to right around $400,000 in donations. This is the 5th round. So to the Miller County Sheriff's Department, they give $15,000, right? School of the Osage Foundation, $10,000, and then $5,000 apiece to the American Legion Post, Camden County Ag and Youth Enrichment, Changing Table, CADV, Heroes Outreach, and Al Whitaker VFW Post. I'll give $5,000. So Osage Nation announcing its plans to bring, of course, the casino, the new entertainment center to town. They had purchased that land across from Menards, and it's kind of gone quiet the last year and a half. But you're absolutely right. If they're still making donations like this, their plans are still in place. They're still working.
The most recent thing, it's only been 5 months. If you remember, in December of 2023, they were looking for the city of Lake Ozark to offer a resolution of support, which was a bit of a heated thing. As a matter of fact, it was voted on, and it was dead split between the 6 aldermen, 6 yes, 6 no, as far as offering this resolution of support. And Mayor Newberry actually was the tie-breaking vote, and he voted against giving the resolution of support to Osage Nation. And his reasoning in an interview with Lake Expo, which I found to be very logical and very mindful in itself, was, I don't make business decisions on behalf of the city based on little to no information. At this point in time, I've got little to no information. On the flip side, you also say, I don't know what giving this resolution of support does or how it hurts the city of Lake Ozark, especially when they've now pumped $400,000 into these local nonprofits, your police departments. And so it'll be interesting. I plan to reach out to Osage Nation to find out how they're doing, what the latest status is, because last time we knew, the land was sitting in the trust, which it had to do for at least a year. And it'd be interesting to hear from Mike Lear, who's the Missouri Gaming Commission chair, on his take on not only that, but also the private, that would be the 14th casino here at Lake of the Ozarks, which of course is different than the Osage Nation.
Yeah, and the new leader of the Osage Nation is Kimberly Pearson. She's the CEO, and she just took over, I think, within the last year. And she says, quote, we are devoted to giving back to communities that we call home by supporting local organizations. So in that statement, places we call home, their plans are still alive and well for the casino here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, and I would love to see if one of the two come to fruition, I do love the fact that Osage Nation has played their hand so intentionally with what this community cares about. We love to back the blue. We love our schools. We love our nonprofits, and they know that. And they are playing right into that. And so they are winning over a lot of people in this community, whereas when they go to get support for this private casino, well, the nonprofits and the school districts and the sheriff's departments might be more apt to lean towards Osage Nation
on their
support because they've played the game.
And the other group that is working hard right now to change the Missouri Constitution so that they can add another casino on the water. This one would be on the Osage, somewhere around Lake Ozarks. So
they're gaining signatures.
Yes, they are.
They're petitioning, and I see them everywhere.
And they'll probably get enough signatures to put it on the ballot to have people around the state of Missouri vote for another casino on the water, which would be here at the Lake of the Ozarks. They're busy working on that right now. So we've got the two casino entities both continuing to work.
People ask me that a lot too. So we got to dig into that a little bit. That's something we promise you. We'll look into the Osage Nation and the other casino project and give you guys an update here in the coming weeks. And lastly, the boat on the shore we've been covering.
Yep.
Right, it hit the Rock Bluff on May 26th of last year over Memorial Day weekend, and then it sat on the shore by Lodge of Four Seasons for almost a year, right? Stories started coming out. Lake Expo did an article. Then there was some video. We did a follow-up. You saw it everywhere. Now someone stepped up to the plate, and even though Ameren didn't say, yes, remove it, they've decided to remove it free of charge.
Yeah, Carl Payton with Service Pro Marine says his team took care of the boat that had sat there on the shoreline, like you said, by the Lodge of Four Seasons for about a year, just sitting there. Nobody was doing anything. Ameren wasn't doing anything. And State Patrol wasn't doing anything. So this guy, Carl Payton, Service Pro Marina, goes and takes it and takes care of it. And Ameren, apparently, he sent something to Ameren saying, okay, we'll take care of this for you. Ameren didn't even say yes or no. He just went and did it.
Because they were followed up with. Lake Expo reached out to Ameren and they said, hey, he approached us and asked us. We didn't say yes or no, but now the boat is gone.
Yeah.
And they didn't really say anything about that, but they don't want to be liable for anything or for moving it. Yeah. And the boat owner, obviously, who should have been responsible for that, had not. Another thing that's interesting, they don't know where the boat went right now.
Yeah.
He said that he's got it somewhere at an undisclosed location. The guy with the closest boat ramp said, hey, he didn't use my ramp to get it out of here. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, right.
His plans are to cut this thing into 4x4 squares.
Right.
To remove this from the water, which to me, I'm not even sure that makes sense.
And I'd learned in that story that apparently it's against the law to abandon a boat like that.
Oh, yeah.
So that boat owner could be in some serious trouble because he obviously abandoned it right there on the shore.
Well, there's no proof that boat was ever there. Oh, wait. There's lots of photos and lots of videos of that boat there. So, hey, real quick, we wanted to give a shout out to our friends at Lake Days, Pamela and Mike Quinn with Lake Days Rentals. They launched their tourism center in Laurie. Just unbelievable. Pamela Quinn said following the massive event with huge turnout, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was an incredible day filled with joy, laughter, and a whole lot of love. All three chambers were there. They had food from all the West Side businesses, Captain Ron's, Don Chilios, Fat Sal's West, Red's Barbecue, and Town and Country. Just amazing. And this is actually a tourism center for the West Side. So when you come here, whether or not you rent from Lake Days Rentals, you get to go there and you get to check out information, vacation services. They've got nostalgic photos, an incredible lake map. And the coolest thing that they're doing is they've got a life jacket program.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes to the lake, whether or not you stay with a Lake Days property, you can rent a brand new life jacket for $10 for the entire stay.
Wow.
Because the Quinns say, hey, you're bringing down a family of 6 or 8 in the car. Trying to get 6 to 8 life jackets in that car is gonna be tough. So they have purchased hundreds and hundreds of brand new life jackets, and they are utilizing that at very low cost to keep it safe, keep it fun. And so that is the forward thinking of
idea.
The Quinn family. I got to tell you, Lake of the Ozarks is blessed to have landed that family here, operating, running their business, and giving back. Great day, and we were so glad to be a part of it.
And everybody's talking about it, too. I was doing a spotlight show yesterday. My guest was talking about it. His greatness.
The Quinns don't do anything halfway. You see that building, just amazing. Now, real quick, Brent Boyles, I believe this week on the Community Spotlight Show as part of our restaurateur.
Michael's Steak Chalet.
Yeah, Michael's Steak Chalet. And I'm telling you what, their filet mignon there. Oh, I'm telling you. Okay, also, don't miss Happy Hour, Weekend at the Lake, Shootout Offshore Live next weekend, Friday and Saturday. And of course, the June monthly market update coming soon. For Uncle Chris, I'm Wild Will from Slumberland at the Lake. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Cup of Coffee. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Be safe and God bless.